Well, my first recollection was maybe when I was 5 years old or so. I remember my grandma was living with us at the time. My mom and grandma both played piano. I can remember them playing piano in the living room, old hymns, and a book called Fireside Favorite American Songs. And so they said, or my mom said, that I would try to pick out the songs as they were playing them. But then mom, when we turned 8, my brother and I, she was, well, you both will take piano lessons. It's not a option. So that was piano lessons through 8th grade. And then she gave us a choice. She said, okay, you can either continue piano lessons or not. And so I decided to keep going. And I think you get to a point when the piano lessons and things start to make a little more sense and it gets a little more interesting. So I really enjoyed it. And then at some point in high school, I thought about majoring in music, but thinking of careers in music is kind of a hard thing because it's hard to make a go of it as a career in music. So I thought, well, maybe major in music at Butler, but also keep in mind possibly science or math. And then after the first year at Butler, and I took science and math, I said, okay, I definitely should be in music. So that's kind of where I decided to continue. I started Butler as a piano major and then switched over to theory and composition. And then I kept piano as my main instrument and organ as my secondary instrument. That got me through Butler. When I finished at Butler as a theory major, the thought was to be a theory professor somewhere, at some college at some point. So I went on to do my master's in music theory at Northwestern. And there I didn't study organ or piano, either one. It was just pretty much anything related to music theory and teaching music theory. And then from there, it was sort of a carrot dangling for me. I said, well, if you're going to teach in college level, you need to really go for your doctorate. So then I decided to, after I finished Northwestern, to go to IU. And I went and majored in music theory. And then my minors were organ performance and musicology. And then at some point while I was at IU, I was organist and sometimes choir director at St. Charles in Bloomington. And at that point, I thought about really getting into church music, at least not as maybe a main profession, but to play on the weekends and then teach during the week still as a theory professor. But as I finished at IU in the music theory department and was applying to jobs, along the way I picked up some computer experience, starting at Northwestern in programming. And so I decided a possible way to make a living rather than teaching music theory was to get into computer programming. So that's what I did. After 1984 is when I finished in the IU music school. And then I took a lot of computer science classes in IU and wound up as a programmer at Sunrise Publications, which is a greeting card company in Bloomington. And so then from there, I was a full-time programmer and eventually wound up moving back to Indianapolis. My wife and I are from the South Side originally. And so then pretty much from 1989 on, I was a full-time computer science and then part-time church organist on the weekends. So I started in July of 1993, and the parish, the physical layout was quite a bit different, as folks who've been here as long as I have or even longer know. The church structure, if you look at what the outside walls you can see inside the narthex and inside the new addition, that was the outside of the church. And if you kind of imagine that just going straight down, then that was the lower level. That was really the footprint of the church. And over that time, of course, the narthex, the new wing with the music room, and now the latest new wing, there have been so many changes over the last 30 plus years. And when I started coming up here, 146th Street was just 2 lanes, and it was straight across. It didn't have the bend. And then the horse training track was on the outside of 146. And plus, during Mass, there was a screen up behind the altar where the choir sat behind that, and the organ was behind there. And there was carpet on the floor. It was much darker. It's just hard to imagine the changes that have happened in the last 31 years. And the parish, of course, has continued to grow and thrive, which is a beautiful thing. I think it was St. Augustine said to sing is to pray twice, and it's something about music just touches your soul, and you can be going through the day and things are okay and you're kind of in your routine, but if you play a certain piece that you love or hear something like that, it just affects you the way nothing else can. And I think that's one of the things I love about it. Also, just the variety of music, so many different styles. We have a sacred music course with mass, but then popular music and just the variety of music that's out there. So for popular music, I go back. I'm 69, so I go back into the 60s and 70s, and I think the Beatles, Elton John, Billy Joel, Paul Simon, a lot with that has a lot to do with piano. Some of my favorite pop songs are things like Piano Man, the Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah, I love that song, and a lot of other things along that line on the popular. Then as far as classical or sacred, um, for as an organist, I think Bach is probably, I'd have to say, is my favorite composer, and Fantasy and Fugue in G minor is probably my favorite piece. But Bach also wrote a lot of wonderful choral music, the St. Matthew Passion, the B minor Mass, and then of course some of the here at OLMC, the Glory Day has done some of the choruses from Hallelujah, Handel's Messiah, and then we recently did the Vivaldi Gloria, which is a wonderful piece too. So some of those pieces. My favorite classical piano composer is Chopin. I think my favorite orchestral symphony is Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. So it's just quite a variety, and it's just, yeah, those are some of the things that I like, my favorite pieces and composers. So I thought about the times with the women's ensemble, all of the Christmas Eve and Easter preparation, the Glory Day choir. Of course, Easter Vigil is always a wonderful celebration. And then with Glory Day, we've done some other special things. Vivaldi Gloria we did recently, and we've done that in the past. Different Messiah choruses, and also some of the pilgrimage trips that my wife Kathy and I were able to take with the choir. They were wonderful. So there's some of my memories. Also, just working with all the cantors and groups, men's ensemble, Schola. It's been quite a journey, and it's been a privilege to work with all those folks. We have grandchildren, 3 granddaughters in Tennessee and 2 grandsons in Denver, plus a grandson in Our Lady of Greenwood and 2 granddaughters down on the south side near us. So especially on the weekends to free up the travel time to go to Denver and Tennessee, and just more freedom to do some more traveling. And I think one of the things I look forward to the most is being able to attend Mass weekly with my wife Kathy, because we've been married almost 47 years, and 45 of those years I've been a church organist somewhere. And so what that means is I'm going to play service and we're not going to Mass together. So I look forward to getting up on Sunday morning and going to Mass with her. And I think that those are the main things that I look forward to in retirement. Just looking back on the time that I've been here, I want to first of all thank Monsignor Duncan for hiring me. It's hard to believe that 31 years ago that I'd wind up here, and it's been such a blessing for me to be able to play here all that time. Father Richard, of course, has been here almost the whole time that I have, and just wanted to thank him for all of his support and leadership over the years. Of course, Rex Run, we've had a wonderful friendship and working relationship all these years, and it's been a great, great partnership. And I think just thank all of the cantors and group members. It's the OLMC music ministry is just so rich and vibrant, and it's been really a pleasure and an honor to serve them and to direct the women's ensemble and work with those beautiful ladies all the years. Glory Day Choir, men's ensemble, Schola, and all the cantors. And just thanks to them. But I think one of the biggest things is to thank my wife Kathy and our family for their support all the years where I've been going to Mass, and and Kathy's been taking them to Mass, and we've been going separately. So our kids, Todd, Tony, and Chris, and Sarah, as they were growing up, and I was away. Kathy was taking them to Mass, so I just wanted to especially thank Kathy for her support all those years, and it's been truly a blessing to be the organist at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. It's a wonderful parish, unbelievable parish, and I think it's just very humbling. There's attention kind of focused on me for leaving now, which is, I think it's, I hope it does, I don't want it to be over, I don't know how to say this, just there are so many people at OLMC that volunteer so much time, and there's so many ministries and things going on. I mean, we see week to week the liturgy, that's, just coming and playing for Mass, but there's so much more outside of that, and it's just unbelievable. This is truly a wonderful parish, and it's been a blessing for me to be part of it all these years.